Welcome to Book Talks, from books to Botox and everything in between. We hope you enjoy. We're just girls.
I feel sad for people that don't talk about Botox.
I don't want to gatekeep anything.
No questions asked.
Secretly in love with Tamlin.
Love you guys. Episode 2.
Episode 2. I feel like you should lead us because my voice is so bad.
Carly's voice is really bad today, and we can't wait to hear why.
It's my sexy book voice.
It's your, what do they call it on Friends? The sexy phlegm.
Oh.
When Phoebe gets sick.
Yes, it's like, did you guys watch One Tree Hill?
I didn't.
What's her name? It's Brooke on One Tree Hill. She has such a great voice. It's like very raspy, and I love it.
Love.
Yeah.
Like you just smoked a pack a day for the past 20 years.
Okay.
Same vibe.
Okay, so here's what happened to me.
Carly, tell us why.
Because we all were in the office and watched it unfold together. So last Monday, I felt the little tickle, and I said it was just allergies.
Yeah.
And I survived the week. Because
She did,
I am a
she
mom
did.
of 3, so I don't have a choice.
You don't
Yeah,
get to be
she
sick.
did.
I wasn't sick. But then, it hit its peak probably on Thursday. Remember when I asked you for an IV, but then we didn't have time?
Yeah.
It just, wasn't
Story
getting
of our
better.
life.
But, you guys, so for those of you that are getting to know us, I am Mormon, a.k.a. a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And my mom was in charge of Mormon prom.
I love it. Cute.
Has either of you
Cute.
ever heard of this?
I had, yeah.
I have not, and it's so crazy because I grew up in Queen Creek, and half my school is Mormon. I have never heard of MoPro.
Yeah.
I love MoPro. I grew up Mormon. I grew up in Tucson. Grew up Mormon. MoPro's a huge thing.
Yeah, so it was new to me because I didn't grow up in Arizona. So MoPro, Mormon prom, essentially is a dance that's put on for the Mormon kids and all their friends. You don't have to be Mormon to
Yeah.
go. Anyone
Yeah,
can
anyone
go.
can come.
But it's essentially like a clean, safe dance. And my mom was in charge. And my mom is a party thrower. She
can
does
tell.
not do anything half.
I
yeah,
can
no,
tell.
she goes all out.
Yeah,
You guys,
she really
I put together a 30-foot Eiffel Tower
I'm dying.
with Christmas lights in puncturing the holes in everything.
That
Because
is
of course.
so Wendy.
I'm surprised she didn't own that already, to be honest.
I know. And honestly, we had to just throw it in the garbage can at the end of it. And it was something to be sad over. But anyway, so Friday night, I was setting up for this dance until 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then Saturday morning, I woke up and had 3 little boys' baseball games and screamed bloody murder.
Perfect.
God, scream.
I'm crying.
Her voice cracks.
So then my voice got really bad. And then I was whispering all day yesterday because I thought that would help, but I Googled it, you guys. Did
And
you
it
know that
doesn't.
whispering is worse?
Yes, you just have to
Oh.
use your voice. You have to use it to get it back. But it's just so funny because this is
Yeah.
like the story of your life.
So
Yeah.
anyway, and then Saturday, so I went to the baseball games, and then I went back to Mormon prom to help her to chaperone
Yeah,
the dance.
yeah.
Oh, mind you, she got a 50-foot by 50-foot light up dance floor. The dance itself was nicer than my wedding.
The necessities, of course.
I
Yeah.
want Wendy to literally plan my wedding.
Yeah. And my sister and my mom and I have an unspoken rule of if anyone's in charge of a party, we're a team.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you invite Rachel to do something or me or my mom, you kind of get the 3 of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a combo pack.
You guys should start a party planning event. company.
I'm the person that's you guys, stop doing things. Stop.
You're like, please.
No more
You
balloons.
guys really should start a party.
No more crepes.
I'm not building another Eiffel Tower.
Please.
Yeah, so I didn't get home Saturday night until midnight, and then I woke up Sunday, and my husband gave me a pass, and I read all day yesterday in bed, and it was so
I'm so
nice.
proud of
I
you.
read 2 books yesterday.
I read 2
Yay.
books this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm almost done with ACOTAR. All
Isn't it?
5. I'm
It's
sad.
exciting, but it's really sad.
It's really sad. I'm on Silver Flame, and I'm just this is my favorite book so far.
Yeah.
so
It's so
good.
good.
Okay, so we're going to chat about, why we chose the 3 topics, books, Botox, and everything else, everything in between.
Yeah.
I think these 3 topics are so important to all of us. We can agree that, we all have common ground on books. We all love medical aesthetics, all things aesthetics.
Yeah.
And we just love everything in between too. We love to chat as girls and talk about pop culture and everything that's going on in our
Yeah.
lives.
I feel like the most fun part about it so far, I mean, we're barely jumped into it, but we jumped in with 2 feet, and it's a really great creative outlet for us in all senses of the way. So we're all getting to chat. We set aside time to do this. We're reading like we want to be reading. We're helping recommend books. We're still talking about our passion in medical aesthetics, and it's just been really fun.
I know, it really has been.
And since we've announced that we're doing this, like our patients and our friends
Yes.
and family are all so like, this is so fun. Like,
Yeah.
what a fun thing, because there are podcasts out there that delve into like deep fantasy. We were talking about that.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
the ACOTAR,
Chapter
like
by chapter.
chapter by chapter.
And they're phenomenal.
Like so phenomenal. And there's a place for that. But this, we want anyone to be able to listen and like enjoy without having like
Exactly.
full knowledge of everything.
Yes, and we also are doing all books, not just fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that just having a podcast with that variety of, all different types of books and aesthetic procedures, it's just different and quirky and fun.
And I feel like even the three of us have very different backgrounds,
Yes.
but we
Yeah.
all have found such a common ground.
We do.
With books and with aesthetic procedures.
100%. And our friendships. Like, it's crazy.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
And like we talked a lot about how I feel sad for groups of people that don't talk about Botox.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm so grateful my friends talk about Botox.
I know. It just was so taboo back then.
It's so
but
funny how different it is now,
it's
though.
so different.
Like, it
And-
used to be so faux pas. You'd be like J-Lo being like, oh, I just use olive oil on my skin. Like,
come
no.
on.
If someone says I look good, I'm like, here's my skincare routine. I get my injectables here, and I do that. Like,
Yes.
I don't want to gatekeep anything.
And I think we have the Kardashians to thank for that. As
Live,
much as
love
people,
Kardashians.
there's that.
Yeah, there's
pull
a stigma
between
around
loving
them.
and hating
For
them.
sure.
But they really did make it like very common to talk about. And I think that they kind of broke that stigma around
Yeah.
Botox and plastic surgery and everything.
Yeah, and I love that our generations aren't ashamed that we're doing things for ourselves.
Yes.
100%.
We're in this new era of like self-care does take a priority, and whether that
Yeah.
be mental health counseling or skincare or
Yes.
like, we're not ashamed to say like, hey, we're doing things and reading, and we
I was
feel
about to say,
better.
that's our
because
invisible
of it.
string between
Yes.
both subjects. Is
Yes,
Both are self-care to us.
They are.
so big. That's
Like, if
so
you've ever
huge.
gone to get a hydrofacial, a massage, anything, you're relaxing, you're taking an hour to yourself. Same with reading. You had just said you
Yes.
spent hours reading this weekend, and it's probably the best self-care you've had in a while.
It's therapeutic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
it
for sure.
recharges you. And again, mental health is so important nowadays. And I feel
Yeah.
like it all connects back to mental health.
Yeah, and we get to talk about it in a way that like even 10 years ago, we were not talking about it like this.
No.
Yeah.
I think TikTok helped that too.
I love
I
TikTok.
love TikTok.
Yeah.
If TikTok gets banned, I'm going to be so sad.
I'm going to be really upset.
Me
It's
too.
become a personality trait of mine.
Same.
I'll admit.
Don't shut down TikTok.
I know, please. Okay, so
We want to hear your reactions, though. We're laughing because all of our significant others had very funny reactions, and I'm sure you can think of like, what would your significant other said if you were starting a podcast
so
about
funny.
spicy books?
It's so funny. So my significant other, Jake, he is just a realist. He's very realistic.
He's a numbers guy.
He's a numbers guy.
Yeah.
And starting a podcast is so fun. And when you start a podcast, we're not making any money. This is like us coming in.
It's a hobby.
A hobby.
A hobby.
On our day off, taking our time, that's precious, obviously. And time is money.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, who's going to listen to you guys? Who's subscribing? Who's following? I'm so confused. What are these books you're talking about? Like, he's just so confused. He drilled me with like a million questions. He's like keeping a spreadsheet on like all the things that we've invested in.
I can't wait to
I'm
prove
like,
him wrong.
please leave me alone. and I keep telling him like, okay, when we get famous,
When?
you're not getting a cut of it if you keep bothering me about this.
You're out, Jake.
Yeah, you're literally out. Like,
Sorry,
where's
not
the
sorry.
support? Where is the support?
Has he listened to the first episode?
I'll listen to it in bed, and he's like, I don't understand who this Reese and Zayden guy is, and I'm like,
He doesn't need to know.
he's like, I don't get it. Like, I feel like you guys are niching yourself out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a huge audience out there,
Yeah.
that love ACOTAR, and we're not
100%.
just talking about ACOTAR.
No.
But he's just so funny. And obviously, at the end of the day, he's like, you're going to be successful in anything you do. He's excited, but he just has these little,
Sweetie.
just
Yeah.
some shade to throw at me. So,
What did Cody say?
Cody was on a similar vibe. He's very entrepreneurial. He owns a couple of businesses. His family's like that. And so he was like, yeah, go for it. Like, he was no hesitation, jump in with 2 feet, like, do whatever you want to do. But I was like, okay, like, when I set us up on Spotify, I was like, go follow us on Spotify. He's like, done. Set us up on Apple. Followed us. He's like, done. I was like,
Same.
okay, are you going to listen every week? He was like, crickets.
I know. It's so funny.
He was like, I'll stream it. Do I have
it's
to listen?
so funny. That's
And-
Jake.
Yeah. And what is he like? That's the support. He hasn't read a fantasy book. He doesn't need to. He doesn't like it. He likes to play video games. That's his thing. But he was so supportive until I was like, do you want to listen? He's like, no.
He's in your corner until it takes more than 5 minutes.
And when I was like editing some of the stuff together, same thing. He was like, he texted me. He was like, who's Reese's and Satan? Sadan. And Reese's, like the candy.
Reese's, yeah.
I'm like,
peanut butter cups.
I'm like, no, you don't need to know.
Boys are so funny,
Yeah.
you know?
What did Dallas say?
Dallas is just, this is not a first for me in the sense of my wild ideas. I always joke that like I wish I could be a person that sat at home and did nothing all day with my time.
Yeah.
But my brain is constantly like
Going.
What can I be doing? What can I be doing? What can I be doing? It's a problem. It's like ADD
Same.
undiagnosed.
Yeah.
But so when I came to him with this new idea, I think he just like nods and smiles now. Like he's like, great,
like,
babe. Sounds fun for you. Like, do you have to spend any money?
Yeah. He's like, do I need to be in any part of this?
Like,
He's
Please
like,
no.
please say
How
no.
much does it cost?
Yeah, he's like, please.
And I'm like, oh no, don't worry. Like, it's just the microphones and
You're like,
and
it's
that's
free.
it. It's
Girl
like,
math.
yeah,
It's
girl
free.
math. It's
Yeah.
like practically free compared to this other business venture that we started
my
2 years ago.
gosh.
But no, he's really funny because when I did record chair chats, his way to torture me is we would like lay in bed at night
And he'll
then
play
he'll
it.
play that
Oh my gosh.
on loud.
No.
And I'm like, turn that off.
No.
It really is hard to hear your own voice.
This is a struggle for me. This
Yeah.
is going to be something that I have to like get over one day. But the sound of my own voice is so cringy.
That's
and
how
then,
I
like,
feel.
I'm self-conscious about it. So I'm like, turn it off.
I
Yeah.
literally just asked Ashley, I'm like, do I have a list?
I was like, yeah. You don't.
But no, I feel like no one likes the sound of their own voice.
It's hard.
You know?
Like editing the last week's episode, I was like, if I hear my voice one more time, I had to step away at one point
Yeah.
because I was like, I can't listen anymore.
No.
But we'll get past it.
We'll get past it.
100%.
This episode
think-
will be insult to injury for me.
All of our significant others are going to look back at this episode once we're famous and they are going to eat their words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be so funny.
When those sponsorships are rolling
Yeah.
in.
Shout out if anyone wants to sponsor us.
Yeah, Road.
Summer Fridays. Road.
Fridays.
And pizza. If anyone feels so.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so last episode we talked about ACOTAR.
Which I have to say really quickly, we never said it's A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Yes.
That's the title of that book,
Yes,
by the way.
yes.
Such a good
by
point.
Sarah J. Maas.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic series. If we just went through it and you totally missed that last time,
Yeah.
A Court of Thorns and Roses, ACOTAR, that's why we keep saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the name of the first book, but there's really no name for the series. Like we've got the
Yeah.
Crescent City series, or like I feel like there's other
Yeah,
series that have
yeah,
a name.
yeah.
We
It
just kind
doesn't.
of refer to it by that first book.
Yeah.
So that's a good explanation.
So we want to talk about what court we would think we're all in. Or what we would think, like Ashley, I would think you were in.
Okay. Go.
Yeah, well, we're still going with the ACOTAR theme.
Yes,
this
sticking
week.
to our
Okay,
ACOTAR
so Carly.
Don't start with
I'm going to start with my opinions.
Okay.
I honestly did I laid in bed and I'm like, what do I think Carly's going to be? And at first I was like, oh yeah, she's going to be like one of like the brighter, lighter courts. And honestly, because I know you so well, I
Yeah.
take it all back. You're night court
Yes,
all the
yes,
way.
yes,
She is
yes,
night court.
yes.
You are, because like honestly,
Where I
looking at
belong.
you, I would be like, you know, if I only knew you and not anything like in depth about you, I would be like, okay, yeah, maybe she's summer.
Yeah,
or
she's summer, she's day,
but
she's
no.
bright, sunshiny.
Carly is so dynamic. I think you are a night court. And is it because you're in love with Reese, or is it because
Maybe.
you're meant to be the night court? I think it's because you're meant to be. You're meant to be.
Okay, but
Hi,
if
lady
she's, this was
of the
my
night
other
court.
question. If she's night court, does she get access to Valeris too? Or is she in like the evil night court? Because
I
like
will
that,
not put you
that
in-
makes sense for Car.
Is it
to
Helm
have both.
City?
Because she
What
is
it?
so
Helm
like,
City.
I can
Hybern?
be
Hybern, no.
Morgan's
No,
like
Home City,
distant
yes.
cousin.
Yeah.
Moors.
Well, isn't
Yeah.
isn't she from Autumn? Or did I make that up?
No, Eris, who she was supposed to marry.
is Autumn.
Wait, Eris is
Oh,
low-key
he
making a
sucks.
comeback right now.
No, he still sucks.
sometimes. So bad. Okay, anyway,
But
so
honestly,
I think
you
Carly,
telling me I'm in night court is probably one of the greatest compliments
I
I've
think
ever
you would live
received.
happily in night court. Like you would be your best self in night court, have the best mental health. You would thrive in night court.
She would.
And also,
Yes.
like, this is super weird, but like when I first got to know Carly, I'm like, oh, like I don't want to text her after 8. Like she's so busy. She has 3 kids. Like,
Yeah.
dude, Carly will text me back like midnight, and I'm like,
I'm getting
this
TikToks
girl-
from Carly at like 1 a.m. and I'm like, how is
Stays
she
up
awake?
all night?
What
You're
is
in night
happening?
court.
She
You live in
doesn't
the
stop.
night. Like I think she does her most thinking And at night.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And I have recently become more of a night owl due to the fact that I'm reading more.
Yeah.
I used to be like a 9 p.m. girly, and
Yeah.
that bedtime has gotten
No,
extended.
you are a night court girly. Like, you reply to all your messages at night. Like, I know this about you.
I do a lot, for sure.
Yeah.
You do. You get on your phone, and that's
That's
when
what
you
I'm
hit
on.
everything. Like, you probably see messages rolling in, but then your brain is working at night. Your
Okay.
night court.
I'll
Night
take
court
it.
girly. Ashley.
Me.
Jenny's on a roll.
Jenny is
I'm
writing
like-
a 5-page MLA essay about all these. I'm excited.
I'm so sorry, but like,
This is gonna be so mean. I'm ready. It's okay. I can take it.
I think you're summer court.
Okay.
I don't know
Me and
why.
Tarquin hanging out.
Yes, and I think like I saw this post on TikTok, and you guys know all the fan art, right?
Yeah.
And they had like little blocks of what summer court would look like, and it was like gold and like very fancy and like by the
Okay, I'll
ocean.
take it.
And I'm like, this is just such an Ashley vibe.
Love.
Like, I feel like you would thrive in summer court. I don't
Okay.
know what it is, and like summer court as in not extremely hot, but like a perfect summer day.
Yeah, like not an Arizona summer.
No, like a perfect
Like an 80 and
beachy-
sunny on the
Yes,
beach with like a
and
slight
I think
breeze.
you. I was gonna say, okay, actually, take
What were
it
you
back.
gonna
No, she's not summer. She's
court.
spring.
I'm sorry.
put myself in spring.
She's not
sorry,
summer.
I'm sorry.
Nothing
I put
about her
myself
is
there.
summer.
No, I'm sorry. I
She
take it back. I take it
would
back.
her like sweet fair skin could not hold up in the summer court.
I would be
Take it
burnt to an
back.
ash.
She
You-
is spring. She is going to be that person
Guys.
that is standing at the gates of
Spring
of
court,
Tamerlan
holding my fresh cut
gates,
tulips.
but like
She-
back the up.
Yes,
like she
yes.
will defend spring
Tamlin.
court till her dying
Well,
day.
Tamlin isn't doing it, so someone has to.
Guys,
She's
Ashley,
holding
take
down
over.
the fort.
I'll hold down spring court.
1,000%. She's holding down the fort.
I'm so glad you said that.
She's glowing and like radiating the smell of peonies.
I think Ashley
I'm gonna hold
is
peonies at my
secretly.
That's so funny. It's
so-
perfect. I'm spring court. I'm highly
Spring,
spring
through
court
and
for
through.
sure.
No questions
Ashley's
asked.
secretly in love with Tamlin. We have
Okay,
to talk
stop
about it.
telling my secrets on
I'm
the
sorry.
pod.
We have to talk about it. I feel like you back Tamlin so hard, and I love it because
Why? Why?
I don't
I feel like it's a
know.
conversation I need to have with my
think
therapist
this is
because
what
why
it
do I
is.
like this awful man?
No, I think it's because
When
you
the
fell in
rest
love
of
with
the
him.
internet truly hates him.
Oh my gosh, hates him.
I
And
love me a
for
controversial opinion though.
Yeah.
Yes, but for good reason they hate him. He did awful things, but so did Feyre.
So did
I
Feyre.
know.
She brought down the
Yes.
spoiler whole entire spring court.
Yeah, that's
She
so
brought it.
screwed them
The
over.
people left him until the point where he had to literally go into his animal. What do they call it? Where he becomes his like beast form.
self. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he stays in his beast form for so long that they think he forgot how to speak. Like once he tried to speak
And
again,
here-
his voice was like
Here's
strange
the
because he hadn't done
problem
it in
too.
so long.
Like
Ashley's tearing up.
let's not
I'm like,
forget at the
damn it.
beginning of ACOTAR, like they painted him in a perfect light.
Mm-hmm.
Like he really did do a lot for Feyre and her
Yeah.
family,
Yeah,
and
he
like
did.
the people of the spring court. Like
Yes.
his house defended him.
yes,
Yeah.
They
100%.
did. I think he lost himself in all of the drama with Amarantha, obviously, but also losing Feyre.
Yes.
You can't discredit that he did love her. Like, whether he loved the idea of her or what, but like
Yeah.
watching her leave for his number one enemy,
Yeah.
that would change you as a person.
100%.
I don't like Tamlin at all, but
I heard
can
a
see.
really hot take about him on TikTok yesterday also. There's this theory, and of course it's silly, but there's this theory that Tamlin's mate is Amarantha.
Shut up.
And that's why he was forcing Feyre so hard. He was like, no, I want anything except Amarantha. But that's also why he couldn't do anything really under the mountain. Like he was just so like,
gosh.
oh, here I am. This is my destiny. He did
But I
nothing
still
for her
want
under the
him to
mountain.
have a mate that's alive.
I do too. I thought Ianthe was going to be his mate for the longest time. Spoiler alert.
I think-
she didn't make it.
In the last book,
R.I.P.
what kind of like made me super sad was when Tamlin like dropped that little pea of life on Reese and said,
Yeah.
"Be happy."
Yeah.
To Feyre. And
Oh,
I'm
I bawled my eyes out.
Like, he
That's
really
the moment.
did
That's
step-
the moment that really turned me. That's the day I came to work and I was like, no, I have so much empathy for
You're a
Tamlin.
spring court babe.
So
I'll take it.
Ashley Springcourt, let's
Yeah.
dive into where Jenny belongs.
You go first. I have a theory.
Well, I know she has like a love for Helion.
The weirdest love for Helion.
And so immediately then I go to Dawn Court. Right? He's Dawn?
I think so.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Helion is the one that
gonna look it up.
with more.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
love
he's also Lucian's dad.
Yes.
Yeah, have you gone there? Is
Yes,
that
I
was
did.
that
forgot about
spoiler
that.
alert?
Yes.
You read
Sorry.
that, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So
and
I
Lucian
think-
still doesn't know, right?
No.
He's Dawn. He's Dawn. I think,
He's
for
Dawn.
sure.
But
Yeah.
Dawn is like where like all of like I just feel like you're intelligent and you like think ahead and you're always kind of
Day
planning
court.
ahead.
Home is Day Court.
Oh,
Oh,
Day.
it's Day.
Helian's
Not
Day
Dawn.
Court.
Why
Day.
did I think Helian was
High Lord
Dawn?
of Day Court. He's a spell cleaver. He's over 500.
Yeah, I
I've
think.
got his Wikipedia.
But I just think Jenny like would do well in that,
Agreed.
like in that, not like scheming, but that like
Yes.
her brain would work well there, and she'd
Yes,
love
yes.
that. Jenny
Yes.
loves the support of many around her, and
Yes.
loves to like think through things with people.
Definitely.
She would thrive,
A sense of community.
and they have a
love it.
fantastic relationship with the Night Court, so
Yeah.
So
we would literally
besties.
be besties.
they work well together.
I agree. I also, just as a joke, put her in Summer Court because
Oh
she
my
I
texted
did
me
think
gosh.
kind of summer too.
as she was reading, and she was like, "Do I have a crush on Tarquin?" And when I read, I was creeped out by Tarquin.
Why? I
He was
think
like
when-
aggressive and flirting and like kind of weird and sketchy, and you were like, "Do I like him?" I'm
I
like,
think-
"Okay, dark romance girly." Like,
I
no,
think
he
it's
sucks.
because how his first visit went with Farah
Yeah.
and Reese. Like he was so straightforward, blunt, like really liked her, but was so respectful. I was like, dude, he's kind of cute.
But like, she's spoken for. Back up.
I know,
He
but
didn't
did
know
he
it
know
at the time.
Yeah, it's true. It's
Did
true.
he
She
know?
was no.
But like, I don't know. I'm looking at
The
all
blood
fan
ruby
art.
was bold.
That
Yes.
was very. It was kind of hot. I was like, yes.
I'm fine with it.
See, that's why I was like, okay, maybe it makes sense.
Yeah, I was
but I
like,
could
yes.
see, I could see it.
I do like Helian too. He's hot too.
Where would you put yourself?
I don't know. Like, I want to be anywhere.
See, I could also see you a knight being like an Amarin or like
I want to be a knight with Cassian.
Oh, you want to be Nesta?
I think you're Illyrian.
I love.
You could be in an
Cassian.
Illyrian war camp.
You
could
could
be fun.
Yeah.
You could be one of the females that's training to be a Valkyrie.
I just
Yeah.
love Cassian. Like I.
Wait,
he
I take
is-
it back. She's a Valkyrie.
she could totally
She's
be.
such a Valkyrie.
I am not cut
Like
out.
I would say I
Hard no.
identify with Nesta. Like I love her.
Yeah.
Love her.
Yeah, I have like a love-hate relationship with Nesta,
I
but we can have a
love
different opinion on that.
Yeah.
I really
I'm
like her.
I'm out. I think if you go to TikTok,
Yeah.
TikTok is obsessed with Nesta.
Okay,
For
pick
sure.
Elaine or Nesta.
I have a soft spot for Elaine.
I do too. I love Elaine.
I am an Elaine at heart. Okay, like I am not the like fierce like
I just
punching
love it.
people person.
I love Nesta, but
I
you
love
are.
Nesta too.
I think you could be both.
Front.
It's a front. I'm excited for her next book, 2 more years out,
I
but
think it'll
to
be
see
Elaine.
where
Me
what
too.
happens to
I think
Elaine.
it'll
I'm
be
really
Because there's
excited.
so much
She's got power
foreshadowing.
hidden under that.
She's
little-
got so much power, and then
flower
at the
power of
end, I
hers.
won't ruin it for Jenny. There's a lot of foreshadowing there, but even like middle-ish end, they talk about how awful she looks in black. She doesn't look good in Night Court black. She looks like her dress is wearing her. Like all of these things, and you're like, okay, where's she going?
What if she gets with Tamlin?
I think she might be going to Spring.
You
Hear me
guys-
out.
she's
Conspiracy
such a Spring
theory.
Court girl.
Because she loves gardening.
Yes.
Okay, Spring Court. She loves like all of these other things that just point her to Spring. And Spring is a lot closer to the wall and
She
home.
loves humans.
And she loves humans. She loves what was his name? He sucked, but
Grayson.
no,
Grayson.
Grace. Yes,
You guys, both of you probably should read Crescent City series.
Yeah.
I think I want to.
What is on your guys' to read? Is that what we're talking?
Yeah, we can
yeah.
hurry and jump into what we're reading. And
And what you read this weekend,
Yeah.
and what you're reading, and what you want to read.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
so I am right now reading like a silly sports romance series. I got to look up the author though because I don't know. Hold on. You're gonna
That's kind of
have
what
to
I
cut
did this
Sorry.
weekend. I did the second book to Icebreaker, which is my little hockey
Wildfire.
smut. Wildfire, yeah.
It was cute.
It was so cute. I actually really liked it. And I also did, what was it? Hook, Line, and Sinker. The second one to
I love that one.
It Happened One Summer.
Did you like Wildfire?
I loved it a lot. I read through that one in one day. Like I just zoomed through it because it was really addicting, really cute. It was hockey smut, which is like my palate cleanser.
Yeah. We talked
really
about this
is.
last time. It's
Yeah,
so cute.
I love it. And Hannah Grace is a really good author. Okay, this is not my usual take on a book, but I liked it because there wasn't anything too conflict at the end. Like it very much came wholehearted Disney
No, like
ending.
big, huge third
Yeah.
act
Yeah.
breakup, trauma.
Yeah.
There was
I like that.
a little bit, but like it was very
it was
Disney
very
ending.
light and cute.
Perfect for like
Yes.
a Sunday to get me past ACOTAR type of read.
A fluffy read.
Yeah.
So I just finished the first 2 books of the series called Spark of the Everflame. It's kind of come up on TikTok a little bit. Anyway, it's like an ACOTAR series.
Yeah.
So I needed a break. So I'm reading the Beyond the Play series by Grace Riley. She's very much like
Like Hannah Grace.
Hannah
Wildfire.
Grace.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just the first book and it's called
And it's
First
cute and
Down.
fluffy.
Yeah, it's so fluffy. We talked about this,
Yeah.
like rotating between the genres
Totally.
to like give yourself like palate cleansers.
Yeah. It helps my Goodreads score, so that I read a quick little book, and it's like, you read another book?
I know, and it just like adds a book, and it's so satisfying when you add a book.
Love.
I finished Frost and Starlight of ACOTAR, and it was really cute and light, but I wanted to kind of read something in between before starting Silver Flame, so I read Say You Swear, which is our next episode.
Yes.
I loved it. We'll talk all about it next episode. But
So everyone needs to read Say You Swear by Megan Brandy. It's a phenomenal quick sports read.
is.
It's cute. Actually, it's not super quick.
It's not. I think it's like
500
pages.
400,
It's
500
juicy,
pages, yeah.
but it's good. Like
It's
it has
good.
plot,
Yes.
and I want everyone to read it. And we're gonna dive into
Yeah, that's what we're going
next
to talk about
episode.
next week.
next
Yeah.
episode. We'll be talking about that book. You do not need more than a week to read it.
No, Jaw on the Floor. It was such a good book, honestly.
It'll hook you
And
in.
then I'm back on Silver Flame now, almost done. I'm so sad. It's my last ACOTAR book, and it's so good.
It's so good.
I
It's
know.
really, really good.
So we're just so excited to review Say You Swear, though. I'm so stoked for that.
Yeah.
It's going to be so good.
Okay, so we're gonna jump into our next topic.
Yes. So our next topic is how we all found ourselves in the medical aesthetic industry. I don't know about you guys. I feel like same, but you probably always get DMs about how did you become a nurse injector or
Yeah.
how did you get into medical
What steps
aesthetics.
did you take?
And I have this whole paragraph, guys, in my notes to reply to people because I remember when
Copy-paste.
I started and I would message people and people would not message me back about how you get into the industry, that I always reply now because I feel so bad.
I love that. What are your tips, though? What would you say to someone coming out either as a new grad nurse or in the hospital?
I feel like I'm a little different. Like, I went into nursing school knowing that I wanted to do medical aesthetics. Like, I wanted to be a nurse injector. I got my hair license when I was 18 when I graduated high school, and I owned a lash business for a really long time, and I kind of wanted to take the next step, so I went back to nursing school to become a nurse injector. When I got out of in nursing school, Carly, you probably know this, when you talk about becoming a nurse injector, it's so frowned upon. Like,
It wasn't even a topic of conversation
Really?
when I was going to
It was
school,
so
but that
frowned
makes me
upon.
sound old. So
it was so frowned upon. All the instructors were like, what? Like, why would you go to nursing school just to do that? Like, it's just not, you don't take any courses on it in nursing school. After I got out of nursing school, try to apply everywhere. Nobody wants to hire someone with no experience. Carly, you know this.
no, and the problem with nursing school too is there is a stigma in nursing school that if you don't work in an ED or an ICU,
Yeah.
you're not a real nurse.
100%.
And that is
It's
like
just
the
so
furthest from the truth.
Yeah.
And it's a hurtful stigma to teach people in nursing school, these people who are sometimes going back for second careers.
Yeah.
And it's just not true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to obviously start in bedside, get my experience, which I do not regret. I love that I did bedside, but, it was the hardest 2 years of my life. We talked about it a little last episode, but it's just really rough. It's not a happy place to be. You're going to work, you're bagging bodies, you're just dealing with, people's worst day. Like, it's never someone's happiest day to be in the hospital.
Yeah.
So it was a lot. So while I was in the hospital, I had gotten in with a really small med spa that I was getting tattoo removal at. And I trained under a naturopath for, I think it was like a couple months. And then I was on my own doing Botox, just Botox, a little bit of filler. And then I had moved on to another med spa, which, Carly will kind of elaborate into this, but the industry is it's really hard to find a place that you want to call home and is everything you want.
Yeah, med spas are tricky because anyone can own a med spa. You don't have to be a doctor. You don't have to be a nurse. You don't have to know anything about the aesthetic industry, but all they're providing are medical procedures.
Yep.
So it's you can imagine then that industry gets very thwarted with business minds and not so much medical minds, and that can be a dangerous recipe.
It gets a little bit murky. And it's like, like my dad could literally go open a med spa. Like, anybody could open a med spa.
Yeah,
It's
anyone.
crazy. So eventually I ended up here, my forever home, with Carly. I had reached out to Carly on Instagram, and that's how we got in touch. But my advice to anyone trying to get into the medical aesthetics field is really just reach out. I applied to over 50 places when I first started. I was
can't be
desperate.
scared of rejection.
Yes, I got paid $20 an hour at my first ever injecting job just to shadow and learn. Like, it is, everyone's like, oh my gosh, injecting, that's where all the money's at. It's not. Like, it really isn't.
you're not going to make a
have
lot
to
of
have a
money at
passion.
first. No.
You
and
do.
you have to have drive too. Like you said, you
do.
started at this small med spa, and then you
Yeah.
had to go and chase your own education and try and follow someone
Exactly.
that'll teach you and find anyone who'll do it. You have to have that drive. It's not just
There's not a
get
clear
the
path.
degree and then
No.
get the job.
No. So Ash, tell us how then you transitioned from not being in aesthetics into aesthetics.
Yeah, I talked a little bit about it last episode, but I got my degree in something that has nothing to do with this. Thought I wanted to pursue that, went into that career, realized I hated it. And then my sister-in-law was working for a dermatologist, was a laser tech esthetician, and really opened my eyes to that world. And I was like, I think I kind of want to do that. So during COVID, I went to aesthetic school. I only did my education in aesthetics only because it's so expensive to do aesthetics and lasers at the same time. And I've already got student loan debt from U of A. So I was like, last thing I want to do is take out an even bigger loan. So I did just my aesthetic education, and the schools will tell you, like, you can still get a job with just aesthetics. You'll still get a job with just aesthetics. I will tell you right now, especially on the West Coast, you will not get a job with just aesthetics.
You have to have the laser.
You have to have the laser if you want to go into medical aesthetics. If you want to work at a hotel or a day spa or open your own business, 100% you can find a job in just aesthetics. But I wanted to work for a doctor, and I knew that.
Yeah.
So then I snuck my way into, I went to the injector that I was seeing at the time to get some lip filler before my birthday. And I was like, hey, by the way, I just got my aesthetics certification. Do you need anyone? And she was like, oh my gosh, I need someone desperately.
Yeah.
Got my foot in the door, started working there under a physician in this small little mom and pop med spa. And underneath that physician, I was able to get my laser because I already felt stunted 6 months after getting my aesthetics license. I was like, I can do facials and peels and microneedling for the rest of my life. Like that made me claustrophobic. I was like, that's a hit. Like that's all I can do. I want to learn lasers. There was a long while where I wanted to go back to nursing school because I wanted to inject, and I was just like, that's not enough for me. So my best advice is definitely get the laser if it makes sense for you financially, and wherever you're living is going to be different too. So yeah,
For sure. And like where you see yourself like landing in the aesthetics world.
Yes.
I also think it's crazy with estheticians how, again, like estheticians are popping up everywhere. And when we say medical esthetician,
Oh, that's a good
I think
point.
it's very important to know who you're going to that's working on your skin. Like,
You know, what their background and education is. Yeah.
Yeah.
anybody can just do a fluffy facial and just, rub product on your face. But like, are you seeing results? Like,
Yes.
Is your esthetician catering to your needs, creating you a plan? Is there a physician that
There's a lot of jargon that goes along with that too, because technically there's no accreditation or regulating board for the term medical esthetician.
Yeah.
You get your aesthetics.
Neither is there for like a nurse injector.
Exactly. Like you get your aesthetics, you get your RN, but then after that, it's just kind of all these words that we've made up to make ourselves distinguished and like all of these things. I know like in Utah, there can be a master esthetician. In Arizona, our board doesn't regulate that. There's no such thing as a master esthetician. So then you hear about this girl on TikTok who's a master esthetician. You should go see her. We just don't have that in Arizona. It's the same education.
Yeah.
So you really need to do your research, look at their before and afters, look at what they're doing, look at the products they're using, and figure out where you want to go from the patient side of things. But same as provider. If you're someone who wants to work under a physician, I knew I did.
Yeah.
You got to go look out for what they're using, their employees, things like that.
Exactly.
No, and I always say never discredit the esthetician. So my number one advice for girls now, so my background a little bit, 10 years ago is when I graduated from nursing school. So like I said, the conversation of like being a nurse injector was not even on the table. But little did I know, all during nursing school, I worked for a dermatologist as a medical assistant. So I just got my CNA, but I worked as an MA. And I was just her assistant, and I learned a lot about the industry. But even then, there still wasn't a place for nurses at the time.
Right.
So then I graduated from nursing school, and my mind was like, okay, I have to just go work in a hospital. That's the road we go down. And so I worked in the newborn intensive care unit right out of nursing school. And while I was working there, I immediately knew I hated the hospital, and like that wasn't going to be for me. But I still, even then, wasn't thinking aesthetics. Like, that wasn't an option. But then my mother-in-law at the time worked for a training program. Anyway, I was recruited to take this training course, learned Botox and learned how to inject Botox in 4 hours. And then, essentially you're just like on your own.
Yeah.
Like,
Crazy.
here, you've learned this. Now, what do you do with it? And at the time I had just had my first, I had my first baby, and I moved to Arizona. And you just apply for as many jobs as you can and take any experience you can get.
Yeah.
So, and I was fortunate enough to be trained by the correct people and land in a job that was really safe. I knew I wanted my license somewhere safe. Nurses, who are your medical directors? Because that is who is protecting your license.
Yeah.
It's so important that you went to school for 4 years and earned this education to protect your license at all costs. Anyway, so now I say to girls that want to just do this, go become an esthetician first.
Yes, get your foot in the door.
Get your foot in a med spa door,
A front
plastic
desk
surgeon
job,
door,
like
anything.
anything.
Get your CNA and become an assistant. But whatever you do, you have to be working in aesthetics.
Yeah.
You learn so much more about skin and skincare and skin health as an esthetician than I learned at all in nursing school.
I agree.
Now, granted, in the hospital, I learned critical thinking and problem solving and things that are now very important in my nursing career. So there is a place for both.
Yeah.
For sure.
That feed in to make me who I am as an injector.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can skip a step.
Yeah.
But I can't even imagine how much knowledge I would have walked away with had I been working as an esthetician for 4 years during nursing school.
That's so smart.
There are part-time jobs for that that,
Yeah.
I think would be so beneficial.
It's so hard to break into the medical aesthetic industry.
It is,
I'm
but I
telling
think
you
it's
guys.
important to realize, like you both said, that it is a bunch of stepping stones.
It really
if
is.
you feel like you're kind of jumping to the next thing, or maybe I reach out to this person, do this, do it, because
Just
there's
do
no
it.
direct path.
There is no direct path. There's no, where do I start? Like, you take any opportunity you get and you climb the ladder. Literally.
Yeah.
And talking about it isn't going to do anything for you. It really is action-based.
Action-based.
Yeah.
Action is the word.
Yeah.
And a lot of like self-accountability too. Like when I graduated from aesthetic school, I applied to probably 50 med spas, and we're in Scottsdale's a very saturated market for med spas and aesthetics and all of that type of stuff. And I still couldn't get a job anywhere.
It's so
I was
sad.
applying everywhere, but there's a lot of self-drive you have to find to keep applying to also further your education, because they don't teach you so much in school. I think you guys would say the same. You didn't learn anything about aesthetics in school.
It's not you. Like, I remember I'd go home and I would cry to Jake. I'd be like, I sent in my resume to like 50 places. No one replied.
Yeah.
And like, it's me, and it's not you. It just has to be the right time, right place.
No, and it's not being scared to talk about it with other people.
Yes.
Like Ashley said when she was talking with her nurse injector about it, you never know what opportunities may be available.
Exactly.
Of whose front desk is hiring or who needs this position filled, because if you're timid and you're scared to say like, I love aesthetics and I want to get into aesthetics, doors may never open for you.
Yeah, I agree. You got to have the passion. That's what everybody looks for, you know?
For sure.
But yeah, so
I think that's all we were going to talk about. If anyone has any questions about how we got to where we are, if you need any advice or specific questions, please don't hesitate to reach out on one of our social media platforms. We love talking about it. I think because we all had such different paths to where we are, and it wasn't streamlined for any of us. And so we're happy to answer questions.
And for all you nurses out there, we do shadowing hours here at MD Beauty Club.
Yeah.
So just reach out to me or Carly, and we can, chat about that. Yeah.
Come hang out in our lobby with us.
Yeah. So next episode we'll be talking. Wait, guys. Okay, so I know quickly to wrap it up. Last episode we talked about lip gloss. We said we were going to try Anfisa, and Carly ordered it for our spa.
It's amazing.
We tried it.
It's amazing.
Good.
You guys.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
It's so good.
You can go on MD Beauty Club's Instagram or mine, and there's an actual whole review about it. You can see the applicator.
It's so good.
Yes.
The applicator's metal, which I love because it doesn't harbor bacteria, but also it just feels so cooling and good. And the formula is full of ceramides, which is phenomenal for your skin. Your lips are a very, very sensitive, gentle type of skin.
It's better than Rhode or Summer Fridays. I'm going to be honest. We'll post a product review on booktox.
Yeah, for sure.
Instagram page.
Yeah.
And show you guys, the applicator and all the things.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of, follow us on Instagram, TikTok,
YouTube.
We're
follow,
on
subscribe.
YouTube now, Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Everywhere you get
follow
your
us
podcasts.
everywhere you can.
Yeah. And then we'll see you guys next week for our 3rd episode.
Yes. And don't forget to read Say You Swear.
Yes, please read.
Bye, you guys.
Bye. Love you.
Love you.